Hello, and welcome to Catholicism in the Car. My name is Parker Zerbal. Alrighty, today I want to discuss some more of this social issues series. And I want to discuss this regarding issues of life and death, among which I would consider the issues of abortion, euthanasia, and more generally things such as murder in general, and the difference between murder and killing. So I think it's helpful, first off, to make this distinction between murder and killing. Murder is known as the sin where one intentionally takes an innocent human life because of malice, ill intention, where there was some sort of bad intention going on, right? Because we also distinguish murder from manslaughter, where manslaughter is the taking of an innocent human life unintentionally, right? And then there would be killing, which is also the taking of a human life, but it is not an innocent human life. So warfare is a classic example. If someone is in a war, particularly a just war, it gets dicey when you get down to unjust wars, because then things are involving murder at that point. Because if this is not a just war, the people involved are innocent actors within that war. Especially if they're drafted or something like that. And so, for them to be needlessly risking their lives in an unjust manner for an unjust cause, there would be quite a bit of culpability, which culpability is a word that basically means the person bears the guilt of a certain action. So if I'm culpable for stealing $5 from a cash register, then that means I'm guilty of stealing $5 from the cash register. Like I hold the moral responsibility for that act. Okay, that's what culpability means. So in an unjust war, the culpability would be upon those leading the unjust war, right? And just and unjust war theory is a topic for a completely other episode. I would need to do a lot more reading about it in order to give some good overviews there. So yeah, we'll set that to the side for now. But I do think that this example of warfare, it does give it gives a good distinction between this murder and killing. If I'm in a just war, I get drafted, and I know what's going on, right? I know what I'm doing, that I'm putting my life at stake. I am no longer an innocent actor within that war. I have placed myself open to the risk of being killed, and therefore, if I end up dying in that war, the person who killed me, most likely, has not committed murder. They have killed someone. In the same way, if I take an innocent life for a just reason, such as defending my family against an aggressor who is trying to kill either me and or my family, that is not murder. That is killing. I killed someone. Yes, I took a life. I took a human life. But I guess it's seen more in the realms at that point. It's much more similar to what we consider would be happening to an animal when we kill an animal. We don't murder an animal. You kill an animal. And I mean, that's not to say there's no distinctions here. I mean, there can certainly be unjust killing of animals. There can be animal cruelty going on, which is quite a grave sin, and can be a mortal sin for sure. So if anyone here has participated in animal cruelty, one should avail themselves of the sacrament of confession. Okay, but a just taking of a life, whether human or bestial animal, is not murder. Okay? So I hope that clears things up a little bit as we go into this discussion of particularly the social issues of abortion and euthanasia. So abortion being the taking of an innocent human life in the womb before that child has been born. And this would be opposed to infanticide, which would be the killing, the murder of a baby or a very young child once they are out of the womb, right? So we do make a distinction there. Abortion is the killing, the murder of a human being when it's in the womb, an innocent human being in the womb, and infanticide is the killing of an innocent human being outside the womb who is below a certain age threshold. That can be determined by the law. I'm not sure what it is in the American context. I'm not sure what that age threshold is, but that is also an important distinction to make, the distinction between abortion and infanticide. Now, they're both murder, right? Because murder is the taking of an innocent human life where that human life has not placed itself in a position to know that it can forfeit its own. Okay? And in that way, any intentional killing of a child from the moment of conception on would be considered murder, because that child cannot, place themselves in a situation as can a soldier, where they know the consequences and they are freely choosing them. Because even if a soldier is drafted, where he's compelled by law to go, he does ultimately have the decision, more or less, to evade. And that's a whole other ball of wax as regards evading a draft. And I'm not equipped at this point to get into that discussion. So I think the principle we're going to be going forth here on is this definition of abortion, and I would say of the murder of a child in general. Before a human being has reached the age of reason, where they can self-reflective, they can show signs that they are now a reasonable being, right? That they can think abstractly, can view themselves as a moral agent in the world who do good or bad, and can choose either good or bad, and choose even against their own desires, right? So that's part of being a mature human being. So until a human being reaches that point, I would argue any killing of a human being up to that would be murder if it's done intentionally. If it's not done intentionally, then it would be considered manslaughter, but it's still a grave matter and a grave tragedy in that event. So yeah, we can get into more of the defending of this, and I think much of it is it's a linchpin upon when human life, and there are certain historical understandings as to why the Catholic Church has come to where they say that human life begins at the very conception of that human being, and this really does come down to our understanding of biology and the very beginnings of humanity, how we begin to grow. So, all right, we will get more into the abortion issue next time. Thank you. Oh, real quick, please feel free to subscribe to any of my podcasts on any of the podcast players. Find me on YouTube. Please subscribe. Like me on Facebook, like the Catholicism Card channel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all there, Catholicism Card. And then I also have a Patreon account if you wish to support what I do at this podcast and this YouTube channel. And you can also support us on Anchor.fm. There's a support button there you click on. I also have links to all of this on my website's support page at www.catholicisminthecard.com.